I have a confession to make. I have a problem.
You got plenty.
Shut up. I am a big-time mood reader, which means I have the habit of reading a book based on my moods. And the reason I have this problem is because I no longer have as much free time to read books anymore, so when I do want to read a book, I usually want to make sure it's one that I'm in the mood to read. By the time I finish the first book, I'm kind of not in the mood to continue, so I go and start a different series. Instead, this is a very serious issue. I tried everything I could to get help. I went to Mood Reader Anonymous. Nothing seems to work. I don't really think it's a commitment problem. I think it's just that I don't have time, and there's still so many series that I want to read. But this is something I want to change. So this whole video is going to be me talking about the series that I started, but haven't finished yet. Maybe in the comments you can recommend which series you want to see me finish first. Also, let me know if you're a mood reader. Starting off with the Wheel of Time, I feel like I have imposter syndrome with this series because on one hand, I'd like to say it's one of my favorite series of all time, but on the other hand, I've only read like 5 or 6 books into it. I don't remember, but there's 14 books in total, so I'm not even close to the end. How can I even say it's one of my favorite series yet? I really gotta continue it. I did start rereading them. I don't know why I did that because really I just gotta continue. I do want to mention the new audiobook for The Eye of the World narrated by Rosamund Pike is honestly pretty incredible. I would definitely recommend it. I do like it more than the Michael Kramer and the Kate Redding audiobook. The Realm of the Elderling series by Robin Hobb. Now this is kind of Robin Hobb's Cosmere. It's a big series that contains other series. Now I have finished the Farseer trilogy, but I want to continue with the rest of the Realm of the Elderlings. So it looks like the next series I have to read is the Live Ship Traders trilogy, which a friend of mine recommends, so I hope I'm gonna enjoy it. I did really enjoy the Farseer trilogy, so I'm sure that I will. The Lightbringer series by Brent Weeks. This has been on my shelf for an embarrassing amount of time, and I still have hardly dived into this series. I read a good ways into book 1, but then the whole fire evacuation thing happened. I'm hoping that it doesn't look too bad. And I didn't return to my home for a few months. I didn't bring this book with me, so after that I just kind of forgot about it, which is unfortunate because I was enjoying it, and I do like the Night Angel trilogy by Brent Weeks, so I definitely want to read more Lightbringer. Also, I tried looking, and there really isn't that much fan art for Lightbringer. I was hoping there'd be a lot for me to make lore videos on, but there really isn't that much. So hey, if you're an artist and you love this series, then that's a good opportunity. And the same goes for Robin Hobb's books. They deserve so much more fan art. The Cosmere by Brandon Sanderson. Now this is a big interconnected universe with multiple series within it, so I've read most of them. There's still a few short stories I need to read. I also need to finish reading Elantris. I never finished that book, so I'm probably just gonna have to start from the beginning now. And I have not finished the second series of Mistborn books. I was waiting until closer to the release date of the 4th one, and now that's coming out this year, so I gotta get caught up. Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Eames. I read the first one, I really enjoyed it, but I need to continue and read The Bloody Rose because I've heard it's even better. This is a world filled with all kinds of monsters, and mercenaries that hunt these monsters are basically rock stars. And what we have is a get the band back together storyline after the main band member's daughter goes missing, forcing this aging group of mercenaries who are way past their prime to go off on one last quest. I kinda got some Final Fantasy vibes, some old school RPG vibes, and I really like that, so I should probably continue. The Burning series by Evan Winter. I really enjoyed The Rage of Dragons. It took me a little while to get into it, but once I did, I was pretty invested. I had a few issues with it here and there, not really anything that big, but I've heard that those issues get fixed in the second book, so I need to read that. But I'll try and read book 2 closer to the release of book 3. The Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn series by Tad Williams. Despite a very slow start, book 1, The Dragon Bone Chair, became a favorite of mine. I'm now on the second book and definitely have plans to continue the series and make videos on it. Now this series has been a big inspiration for both George R.R. Martin as well as Patrick Rothfuss. and I really don't see enough people talking about it. The Broken Earth series by N.K. Jemisin, again, this is another series where it took me a while to get into it, but then I really enjoyed it. N.K. Jemisin is now an author I really want to read more of, but first I need to finish this trilogy. The story and the world in this book is very unique, and I definitely think you should read it if you haven't. The Witcher books. I am a big fan of the Witcher video games, especially the third one, and I even enjoyed the Netflix adaptation, even though I did have some problems with it. So you'd think that being a reader of fantasy books that this would be the perfect series for me, but I have only read the first 2 novellas and the first 2 books. Now, I made a few worth a read videos for The Witcher, which I still think were pretty good, but they just never really got much views, and I think I let that stop me from continuing the series for a while because the videos just weren't performing as well as I was hoping. But regardless of how the videos perform, I definitely want to jump back in and finish the Witcher Saga. The Lies of Loch Lamora by Scott Lynch. I found out this is an unfinished series and I decided not to read further, but apparently you can enjoy the sequels on their own, so I think I am going to continue this very soon because book 1 was one of my favorite books. If you're looking for clever rogues and a twisty heist story with a charismatic protagonist, this is the book for you. This is actually one of the series that grabbed my attention in the bookstore way before I even had a booktube channel. I just knew that I wanted to read it, so I need to follow through and read the other books. Theft of Swords by Michael J. Sullivan. I read the first book, I loved it, but I didn't continue. I think we're starting to see a pattern. There is too many books and so little time. The Discworld books by Terry Pratchett. Now, what I love about Discworld is that you can basically jump in wherever you want, and so far I've read the Death books as well as Guards, and I love reading a quick Discworld book in between some other big series that I'm reading. Honestly, I think that Terry Pratchett was a genius. The humor is brilliant, it's extremely imaginative, and he also manages to talk about a lot of politics and real-life issues so seamlessly without trying to push his own views. Now, I don't plan on reading all the Discworld books, but I am going to be reading a lot more. Red Rising, I listened to partway through the audiobook, but then something happened, I don't remember, and I ended up listening to something else, even though I was enjoying Red Rising, so I don't know what's wrong with me. Murderbot Diaries by Martha Wells. These are quick novellas. I've only read the first one, but obviously, yeah, I need to continue this series as well. There's also an adaptation in the works, which I'm pretty excited for. Also, I've heard these Murderbot novellas are better than the actual books in the series, so I don't even know if I'm gonna read the full books in this series. I might just stick with the novellas. The Codex Alera by Jim Butcher, which is a series that came about by combining the ideas of Pokemon and the Lost Roman Legion.
What?
The Pokemon aspect is kind of loosely in there, but this book was a lot of fun, and I definitely want to read more. And yes, I know, I need to read the Dresden Files. If you can somehow gift me your time and your life force, then I will read it. Elric of Melniboné. This is book 1 in the Elric Saga. I've only read this one because this is an incredibly hard series to find, but they did just release a new edition that looks absolutely beautiful. It's definitely something that I would like to pick up at some point, and I'd like to continue this classic fantasy series that's basically a forefather to the grimdark genre. If you enjoyed Warbreaker and you like the sentient sword trope, then this is the series that kind of started that. Okay, I'm looking at my shelves and I think I got them all. Oh, and A Song of Ice and Fire. I read Game of Thrones back in high school and I didn't ever continue. At the time, the pacing was just kind of slow for me, but I'm sure I would enjoy it now, so that's another series to add. Okay, that is it. Those are all the series that I started that I still need to finish. I wasn't counting, but it's probably a lot. Am I intimidated by all of these? Yes. Do I have a fear that I'll never be able to finish them all? Also, yes. Again, let me know in the comments if there's a series you want to see me finish first. Also, let me know if there's any series that you haven't finished yet either, so that I can feel better about myself. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you want to help support the channel, make sure to check out my Patreon or my Ko-Fi, and I'll see you guys in the next video.